It's called Tom Clancy's GSC Podcast 23.
What?
We're not going to get sued, are we?
Oh, if only that mixed in with this week, you could have called him Tom Chancy.
Oh, I love it.
What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Louchy. Joined this week, as always, by Johnny.
Yo.
Jamie C.
Hello.
And Janny.
Hello.
What up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
Everyone in good spirits?
Very good spirits, man.
Awesome.
Positively,
man. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's start, as we always do, with what we've been playing / doing this week. Johnny, you're up first, broski.
Well, I think we can all. I can talk for all of us. Pokemon has been on the old table, hasn't it?
Pokemon.
Is that what you've been playing?
Yeah, all of us. Pokemon X, Pokemon Y. My flavour was X. What was your flavours?
I think we all got Y.
Yeah,
Did we all get Y?
yeah. You can hear it on podcasts as well. Though we like talking about how you're going to have to change your pre-order, weren't you? Because there were too many people with X.
Didn't
Yeah.
Jelly get X?
No.
I
No.
thought I was, but then Ben ended up with 2 Ys.
Just because of everybody else getting X, but then because I saw, lots of X, I ended up buying Y as well. So.
Because Lizzie had X, doesn't she, for you?
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's 2 copies at my house now, so we've got both of them.
Actually, my brother just bought X today as well, so I got them both, technically.
Score.
There we go.
All right,
Nice.
Johnny.
Yeah.
Tell me in a sentence what you think of Pokemon, because we're going to talk about it in a bit.
Finally.
Just something
The
that's
sentence,
up
not
in
a word.
Yeah. Finally, dot. That'll do. No, yeah, it's obviously it's very good. Some nice improvements, mostly just visual, but I think that's kind of enough. It just got very static with those very bad, especially in black and white, with the sprites very badly. The pixels were everywhere, especially on the XL, playing on the XL. But no, yeah, very good, very happy.
Sweet. Did you literally just play Pokemon this week?
These last 2 days, they've just been Pokemon.
Alright, cool, man. Jamie, what have you been up to this week, bro?
There were like loads of other days in the week as well. Bit some
That's
other
true.
stuff in there.
I was just
That's-
about to say that.
Because we've only had Pokemon for a couple of days now. No, they're not evolving. Right, what's going to be quite evident while we're doing this podcast is I am playing Pokemon. So- and I started talking, and then I looked down, and one of them was evolving, so I had to quickly stop that happening. Right, no.
Touch him.
So I managed to sneak around talking about it last week because I hadn't got that far into it. But the Wind Waker HD would have come out last week as well. So I've been busy on that.
We
So-
caught a sneak peek of you playing it when we stopped by the other day, man. And you look pretty far. So did you manage to finish it?
And no, I'm nearly done. I've just got the last little bit, like the little Triforce hunt that everybody moans about, and then on to the old Ganon. But no, it's playing it now. It's just like, I want you to go back and do this with a lot of your games. And then I started thinking about how I'd want an Adventure Time game in that style as well, looking all purdy and HD. But there's different ends of this HD ideal now, isn't there? I've just been watching some Killzone multiplayer footage and thinking, fuck me, that looks amazing. And then on the other end of it, looks just as good, but in a different way. You've got this Wind Waker HD reboot. So it's all down to taste, isn't it, really?
When I
Style.
saw it running on your Wii U, that was the first time I'd seen the HD version up close and personal, and I was really, really impressed, right? Because honestly, I remember Wind Waker looking like that, but I know it never did, right? So in my mind, I remember it looking that good, like it's a cartoon in motion, but the reality of it is it was quite pixelated and quite jaggy and stuff back in the day. I want to see more games running like Wind Waker HD does now, That is amazing cell shading. I would say the actual technology used in like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games is probably better, but it's not as well rendered, so it doesn't look as close to being a cartoon as Wind Waker HD does. It's freaking awesome, man. How does the game hold up is what I want to know, because I haven't actually played through Wind Waker at all, but I've got quite far into it, but not for about 5 years. So having played sort of Twilight Princess and like Skyward Sword since then, how does Wind Waker hold up, man?
It's still up there, and I've always held this one with high regard. I know there are a few people who really hate the style, hate the game itself, but those are some of the things that I embrace. And it can be a shorter game, or it can be, you've got the option to go and do the side quest, so it can be a longer game. But you stick through the main story, you're not going to get a long game, and sometimes that suits me because of this. I've said before, the amount of time I have to play is just reducing by the day. So the smaller games are sometimes nicer because I still feel like I've accomplished something. So that's still, that's nice.
A lot of people bitched like, oh, all it is a big ocean and like there's nothing there and stuff. But when it actually came out, sandbox games weren't massive, right? We've had like in the few years. When did Wind Waker come out? It was like 2003, something like that originally.
I think it was 2002.
2002. So in that like 10-year time frame between then and like where we are now, I guess it's more than 10 years. Don't worry about that. We've had like open world games have become prevalent. Everyone loves them now. I wonder whether it would have got like a different reaction if it came out today and everyone was saying like, oh, there's a massive open sea to explore and stuff. I get the feeling
it's because you can't pick up hookers on the sea. That's what it is. You can't just stop off on the sea and pick up a prosy and just drive off.
What would a Zelda hooker look like, man? Probably some sort of weird bird woman.
All you got to do is just make Zelda's earrings bigger. But no, in terms of like the actual game then, so back on the GameCube, you would have had some issues with positioning. Say like you go to open the chest, you've got to be really precise about how you stand in front of it, but you wouldn't have noticed as much because it was a clunkier game back then, and it even looked chunkier. But now you still have that issue, but you notice it so much more because of how smooth the game is and how much detail goes in there now. So you could be stood in front of a chest, and unless you're perfectly stood in front of it, you're not allowed to open it. It can be a bit particular and a bit stressful. But you know what? If that's the gripe I'm picking, then that's a lot of credit for the game still.
Totally. I mean, I heard they were touching bits of it up and like modernizing certain aspects. You would think that would have been one of them, maybe. Like, maybe if you touch the chest from like an off angle, it would automatically align Link and open the chest. Like, that makes sense.
But yeah, seriously, if that's the only bad word I've got, then it's not really much, is it? I do enjoy this game. Like, the Link to the Past is probably still the best one. Probably. I don't know. I've never really sat down to think about how I would rate these games, but this is up there. This is one of my favorites. Definitely.
Twilight Princess was my favorite. Oh my god, I went there. Oh my god.
But no, other little nice tune-ups then, like it's quicker on the sea now, and scavenging for stuff in the sea is a lot quicker. You can use the Wii U gamepad to conduct as well. That's quite a nice little touch. You wouldn't do it all the time, but it adds something.
That is pretty awesome. What they could have done, I think they missed a trick here. What they could have done is implemented the course plotting system from Phantom Hourglass using the Wii U gamepad. So maybe if they'd have given you like an engine or something as a new item, then you could have drawn your course on the map, and then like the boat could have automatically gone there, and you could have just worried about shooting and stuff.
Maybe.
That would have been awesome.
There's a bit going on in this one though. Yeah, Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, you did that on the sea, didn't you?
Yeah.
Similar in the.
Did you complete Wind Waker before, Jamie?
Yeah, I seriously like sat down the weekend it came out and just destroyed it. I loved it so much.
Nice.
Just couldn't tear myself away from it, should I say? But yeah, nice little upgrades. The message in the bottle system that they're using across the Miiverse, I'm addicted to picking them up and having a look, but it doesn't draw me in enough to want to like send my own messages.
Do they have to be tight? or is there just like tons of dicks floating around the sea? Because that's what I would imagine would happen with free reign, man.
They need to go for a filter first.
Oh, okay.
But you can freehand, you can text type, and you can add photos in game. So, yeah.
All right, awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what else have you been up to, dude?
There was a little bit of Pokemon. I'll go into like detail when we do the Poke section or whatever.
Section. All right, cool, man.
Otherwise, I would just be geeking out over a new series of Turtles, and that's not really.
That's a thing. You love Turtles. That's all good. Well, was there a cliffhanger at the end of season 1?
There was some closure, and then a lot of it was left open, and they really did like tear the band-aid off in the last season, like some like mind-blowing stuff. But yeah, they didn't really address it in this return yet.
Because I saw a clip from the final episode. I think it was from the final episode, where like there was a big ass Krang, man, and I think he'd kidnapped April O'Neil.
Do you know who was voicing that Krang?
No,
that was Rose. That was Roseanne Barr.
I thought you were going to say Rosie O'Donnell. Man.
I nearly did, but no, that was Roseanne Barr.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah. That big, that's Krang Prime, but yeah, they kind of leave it where you think the Krang are gone, and like Shredder goes into hiding, but he's about to go off to Asia and get Tiger Claw, and basically anything now is just about introducing more figures for the playset.
You're not going to complain.
I'm not, no, but this one opens up with loads of mutagen being spread across the city by mistake, and there you go. You got enough so many more characters now.
Awesome, man. Turtles, season 2. That's a thing you should watch.
You don't, so I don't. No, never mind.
I might end up catching up on it one day. Remember, I fucking sessioned Young Justice season 1 and 2 not long ago, so I'm always down for watching a good kids TV show because I'm like that.
Why'd you have to ruin it and say that word? All right, you keep telling people it's a kids show, then you can't justify yourself watching it, can you?
Of course I can. I was about to drop a quote on you there, but I've completely forgot who said it, so never mind.
Okay.
The quote went something like this: "When I became a man, I put aside childish things, including the fear of being perceived as childish." Ooh, deep.
Oh, I like that.
Deep. I forgot who said it, so ignore it. All right. Is there anything else, mate, or can I move on to Jani's non-week?
Go on then.
Jani, what have you been up to this week, mate? Right. We actually got around to GTA Online, me, Jamie, and Johnny. That was a thing that happened earlier on in the week, which we've probably we've all forgotten about. But we haven't put too much into it, so yeah, there's not really much to talk about on that.
How are you guys finding GTA Online?
I thought it played quite smoothly.
Have you guys encountered any of the bugs?
Bugs?
The glitches and stuff that are like been complained about online at the moment.
I tend to stay away from game forums because it's all a bunch of people just moaning. What sort of glitches were there?
People losing their characters, people randomly losing money, people losing cars, stuff like that.
Well, we haven't got back on it yet, so all of our characters
that's a good point.
I did read a post this morning about somebody's character that when they spawn, they've got no arms.
That's amazing.
That's not something I'd complain about.
Do you imagine?
Could they still fire guns? Was it just invisible arms?
They come back after a while, or like when you switch from something, but yeah, you spawn with no arms. Could you imagine trying to play that game that way? You have to steer with your face, and
I would just love to play that game that way. If it was a choice, I would make it, man. Sorry, Jani. Carry on.
I did not know that was a thing. Yeah, so limited time with GTA Online. Like you all, Pokemon, but that was from yesterday. And I picked up the Giant Sisters today because I thought, I said I'd do this PSN thing, and I didn't want to go the first 2 weeks of a complete. Is it 2 or 3 now? But yeah. So the Giant Sisters, basically, for those who don't know, it's a platformer, and you've got I'm not sure. I think they're alter egos, if I remember rightly. Basically, you have one's Punk Gianna and the other one's just normal Gianna, and you have to. It's like a puzzle come platformer. So you have to switch between the two. Now the Punk one, is kind of all mixed around a bit because the normal Gianna is in a sort of a wasteland. I mean, the levels are basically the same, but she's in a wasteland. And when you switch to the Punk one, she's in like, well, just think of like a not Mario, but like a, I don't know, like a cleaner environment. Anyway, and so what I was saying about the puzzle things, you have to just identify places which you may be able to, if you switch to the good one, it's all in ruin. So like, I was going round and there was like a well, and in the Punk Giant one, I couldn't go down there. But when I changed to the normal one, it opened up because it was all in ruin, and then I was in a whole new part of the level. So the idea is you go around, you're collecting as many gems as possible, and so if you got the red ones, they're for the Punk one. If you got yellow ones, they're for the normal one, and then the blue ones, both of them can collect. So you as you're going through the level, you have to keep switching between the two, and they've got different powers as well. Personally, I probably wouldn't have bought it, but as a free download, it's quite fun. I don't know if I'll pick it up again, but
I think I saw some pretty cool sort of platforming sections in that game where like you would jump across and you'd have to switch character mid jump to land on a platform and then jump back and then like switch character again to materialize another platform. Does that happen a lot throughout the game?
Yes, because that's pretty much where I was going up to, and I had to quit. But yeah, there's a one bit you're just running across a bridge and you have to keep flicking between the two. I actually died because I forgot. I didn't realise what was going on when I first did it. But the one thing I have to say though is the art style. I mean, it just looks fantastic, even though it is effectively a 2.5D platformer. It does look absolutely fantastic, and you can tell they've put a lot of effort into that part of it. And they have. I mean, I'm probably not doing it justice by saying it's a free game. It's enjoyable. You can tell they've put some effort into the game. But yeah, I mean, you guys would all have it, so give it a go and just see what you guys think. But I quite rate it.
I did download it actually. It's sat there on my desktop thing ready. So yeah, but that tends to be the case with all PlayStation Network games now. Just hit download, and then if you never play them, that's great. And if you don't play them now, fine, because they'll be there. Just go play them again another time.
Well, that's exactly why I thought about doing this, because instead I've had it for the past over a year now, and there's some games where I downloaded and I was like, I'll play that later, and I just did. So and it took me. I mean, even Scott Pilgrim, I didn't play that for ages, and I actually forgot I had it.
Yep, same here.
So, but that was quite fun.
Sometimes it works out a treat, doesn't it? When you forget, like you got nothing to play, and then you just go through all your catalogue and you find something.
Well,
you haven't even started.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I think for me it was quite hindered with the fact that I only had 120 gig. When I've upgraded now to a terabyte, I literally went through the whole back catalogue and downloaded them all at the same time. So now they're all actually on my hard drive ready to play. Whereas before, on a monthly basis, I was deleting games to be able to, each month I was deleting and putting stuff on. So I'd only play, say, what I really wanted to play rather than other ones that were taking up memory. So now, yeah, I haven't even used half my hard drive yet, and I've got some amazing games on there that I still need to play. So that's why this is going to make some sense. Anyway, the other game I was playing was what's it called? Quantum Conundrum.
Quantum Conundrum is the first-person puzzle game, right? A bit like Portal.
Yeah. I haven't played too much into that. Literally about 20 minutes, and it does feel exactly the same as Portal with a different skin.
If I remember correctly, isn't some of the creative team behind Portal actually, didn't they work on that game? Did any of you guys hear that? I'm fairly sure that's a thing that happened.
Really? I don't know.
Had a look on Wikipedia, and it says, directed by Kim Smith, who formerly worked at Valve. There's lead designer of Portal, so you can see where that's come from. It uses Unreal Engine, so it's quite nice looking, and it seems quite smooth. But I don't, I didn't really get very far into it, and Pokemon kept calling me, so I was like, I should do this, but never mind. So yeah, I'll see if I can put a few more hours into that, or a few more minutes into that, I should say. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I think there's nothing else I've been playing.
Cool, man. I've had another weird old week, man. I picked up the 2DS. That thing is surprisingly cool. I probably still wouldn't pick it over a 3DS XL. Like if I had to openly choose, I didn't want to spend much money. That's why I ended up with a 2DS. But it's a nice piece of kit. It does still look a bit like a Fisher-Price toy, but it lets me play Pokemon, and it has a decent battery life, so it serves its purpose. I played a bit of Pokemon. I would have played more Pokemon, but I took Johnny's recommendation from a couple of weeks ago about the show Luther, and I sessioned that. So I watched season 1 and 2 this week, and that show is amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely
I've been watching that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you guys should check it out.
Idris Elba.
I am going to, yeah.
It's one of those shows, right, where he's a cop, but the only reason he's not a criminal is because he's got a badge, if that makes sense. Like, he's so close to, like, being a criminal, but at the same time, he's always sort of doing the right thing, if that makes sense. Kind of like one of those characters where, like, he's not afraid to break the rules to get things done. It's awesome, man. He is fucking flawed as well, man. I love flawed, dark people.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a really good show. Lots of really creepy moments as well. Moments that will just make you cringe, man. So that's something that I was watching. I also picked up another one of my amazing books. You guys were there.
How much?
It was £30, right, for the bestiary, so that I have enemies that my players can fight. And now I pretty much have everything I need, so hopefully I can start running a Pathfinder session soon.
Never has the imagination cost so much.
I only have to buy them once, right? And then as many games as I want to run. So
oh, congratulations.
So that's something I want to try soon. If it works out well, shit, we might even end up recording it or something, man. I know you guys can't play, but it could be awesome. It could be dreadful, but I'm quite excited to give it a try.
It will be dreadful.
I've never tried the old role-playing thing before, so it could be awesome. And that's pretty much all I did this week. It was fairly boring, so good times. Let's talk about Pokemon, people, because I know we want to talk about Pokemon, and we've been trying to put it off talking about it in what we've been doing this week because we wanted to fucking make a segment of it. I want to start by asking you guys, when did you guys first jump on the bandwagon? Were you all in from Red and Blue?
Like from launch, go back to the start. Yeah.
I forget how far into it was when I picked it up, because obviously I was quite young at that point. But I had Red, but I don't know how long after Red came out I picked it up. It might have been out for like a year or something, maybe. Did the anime start before we got the games, or did it start after the games were released?
Over here, you would have got it on SMTV Live, I think, 2 weeks after Red and Blue launched.
That sounds about right.
All right.
So they pretty much go hand in hand, but
maybe I didn't miss it by much then, because I remember I was sleeping over at a friend's house, and he was like, in the morning, he woke up and he was like, "Oh yeah, this new show's on. It's really big in Japan and stuff." And like we started watching it, and it was awesome. And then I went out and bought the game. So
I have a feeling it came out just before the Christmas, because I remember getting both Blue and Red for Christmas. And I don't think it'd been out very long by then. So yeah, that's probably about, was it 97?
All right, here's another interesting question. Was Pokemon the first RPG you ever played?
Well, it depends because I played it. Well, do you mean turn-based RPG?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then probably yes.
It was
don't think it was.
It was definitely the first turn-based RPG I ever played.
Really?
Yep, because after that I played quite a while after that actually. I played Final Fantasy VI on a SNES emulator, and I remember thinking, like, whilst I was playing Final Fantasy VI, I was like, wow, this game's like Pokemon, but with like badass warriors instead of like little animals, and that's what made me really like it. So Pokemon was like my gateway drug into RPGs, which is quite awesome.
Way.
I can't help thinking that somebody's just had a heart attack on hearing that statement. That you
Really?
thought
I don't know why. Like
that Final Fantasy was like Pokemon.
Yeah, to somebody who knows nothing about like JRPGs and stuff, that's an honest thing to think, right? You've played Pokemon before; it's like JRPG's light version, pretty much, and then you move on to something like Final Fantasy, and it's super similar, but at the same time a little bit different, kind of deeper and stuff.
More adult, yeah.
Guys, Pokemon was October 5th, 1999 in Europe.
99.
Yeah, it was February 96 in Japan. And then you start to see it in North America towards the end of 98, and then we got it October 99.
Japan originally...
Does that sound about right?
Japan originally had red and green, right?
Yeah. And then but it was like really buggy, so they released blue as like kind of an update with a slightly better redrawn sprite art and some fixes. And then that's when we got red and blue, but there's still some glitches and dodgy sprite art, like the coughing. Remember the upside down coughing, and the execute and exetor sprites weren't correct to what they're supposed to be.
There was some funny stuff, man.
Stuff like that. Yeah, actually, the first time I played Pokemon, there was a school trip, and my friend had a Game Boy, and he had Pokemon Blue, and that was the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, I need to get it. So I somehow managed to get Game Boy and Pokemon Yellow, and absolutely loved it.
Man, I used to rinse these games hard, especially when you found like the cheats and stuff out, like the missing no cheats and stuff, like to get infinite rare candies and level up your Pokemon.
Yeah,
and the Pokemon cloning cheat as well. That was awesome. Where like you put a Pokemon in the box and then like switch the power off to your Game Boy before it said now saving, like, and then it cloned it so it was still in your party and in the box.
Right,
that was awesome as well, man.
Well, it could have corrupted your file.
All of them could have corrupted your file, but we were kids and we didn't care, man.
Yeah, I didn't care.
You know, there was always that myth about Mew being in the game, but nobody knew how.
Everyone said it though, man. On every playground, it was like, oh yeah, like, do you know how to get Mew and stuff? Like,
but Mew was actually
an event
in there.
one. He was an event Pokemon, wasn't he? You had to get him from the event.
Yeah.
Well, because I managed to get one from one of the events, but the other, it must have been about 3-4 years ago. No, wait, it was before Ricky went to Japan. Anyway, I picked up Red again and started playing, and I had a look online, and there was this one guy who was saying how you can get Mew, and I actually found from a glitch. It's a massive glitch in the game, but you can actually get Mew in there.
What, for real?
For real.
So you did this, you sat down, you played it, and you did the glitch, and you saw Mew.
I caught Mew.
You
honestly,
caught Mew.
I shit you not. I honestly, you have to. It was all quite specific. The stuff you had to do. Otherwise, if you messed up, you have to start again. And it was a specific point in the game you had to do it. It was like just before the second dungeon or just after or something like that. And there was this one, you had to go talk to someone and then... But anyway, the point is you can actually get Mew in there, and I promise you, if you look it up, you will find it. If I can find it, I'll show you.
I'm almost a little bit disappointed, man, that like you were able to do it, because it kind of takes some of the mystique away from like my childhood, kind of. Like, the internet sort of ruins everything. There's no secrets anymore because it's always going to be on the internet. Like, imagine how long...
Here's the thing.
Pardon?
You know, with X&Y, have you guys been using the internet at all? Have you been looking things up? Have you been...
Nope.
Yeah, me either.
No.
There's only one thing I looked up on, and that was the differences in Pokemon between the two versions.
Oh,
But-
yeah. That's something I did check today, actually. So I lied. I did check something.
No sort of like.
But then that's the kind of thing that would have been listed in a magazine I would have bought as a kid. So
Yeah.
I don't feel bad about it. I just wanted to know what Pokemon only I could get and what Pokemon only you could get, and then we could like trade and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
But
pretty much typical stuff, really. Although Tyranitar is exclusive to Y, so I definitely need to trade you one of those
Okay.
because that thing is
I
awesome.
really want one.
We do have a list, don't we, of everything that's.
Yeah.
Do you want to run
So
it off?
I
I have no idea.
I could go
Spoilers,
through
I
the whole list, or I could just pick a few names out of that.
Go on
'Cause,
then.
to be honest, a lot of the X version ones are ones that sound familiar to me. So it seems that they've put some of the newer ones exclusive to Y. I don't know. I mean, with both, you'll get the Mega Charizard, but they have their X and Y versions, don't they? And the same with the Mewtwo. But X version would be things like Staryu and Starmie, Pinsir, Houndour, Houndoom, the Poochyena one, Aron. I know that one, don't I? That's that little head shielded thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the other big dinosaur one, right? Like when it's fully evolved.
Right, yeah. So I'll have a look out for that one on the other version. Of things like Swirlix and Slurpuff, they're all exclusive on the X. The list is actually shorter on the Y version. But it really is things that I don't really know. Things like the Shouder and the Cloyster.
You don't remember
Heracross.
Shouder and Cloyster?
No,
They
okay,
were Gen
there are
1,
things-
man. They were in
I'm
Red
saying-
and Blue.
I'm saying it's got things that I don't remember, and then I didn't bother to pause
Oh,
to
okay.
end that sentence and just carried on talking.
Fair play.
Heracross, Larvitar, Tyranitar, like you've already said. Purloin, I know that name. Yeah.
So, hours played. What are your general levels?
Lol.
I
I
have to admit this.
was telling you guys before we started recording that I kind of just got stuck, and so I just stopped. Otherwise, I fell asleep with it in my hand. Real talk, though, right now, I've got it back in my hands, and everywhere
Game,
telling
yeah?
me there's a blackout. I just can't. Yeah, the game, not my penis.
Okay. Good.
All right. So hours played, would that be on my trainer card under time, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So 15 hours, 29 minutes.
Okay.
Time played. Remember, I had it since like probably 10 a.m. on Friday. So like
Yeah.
2 days ago. And my general levels, my highest level is 40, which is Venusaur.
Right.
And the lowest level in my party is 29, which is Azumarill.
What's your Pokedex at?
Let's have a little check quick.
On your trainer information.
Pokedex is at 131.
Nice. I'm catching a lot.
We're getting there, man. What about you guys? I want to hear yours. I know you've got your DSs in front of you on. So you guys can tell me your stats as well.
I'm at 3 hours because of what happened. So I'm levels 17 to 11. And my Pokedex is at 31. It's because I went back to Wind Waker today as well.
Fair
I should
enough.
be playing this a bit. I'm on my skates. I'm just going around Paris right now,
Yeah.
trying to find my way back out. But
Nice.
Who wants to go
for me-
next? Johnny.
Yeah. For me, mine's 12 hours played. Pokedex is 109. And then my general levels. Oh, I don't know. 1 second. 32, 29, 28, 27, and then 24. I just got Tyrant. You know, you get to choose the fossils.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can either choose like a sail fossil or a jaw fossil. I went for the jaw.
So did I. Don't worry.
Fucking T-Rex, man.
Nobody wants a Brontosaurus. Give me the T-Rex.
Yeah. Jenny, how about you?
Mine's around 11 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think part of it is probably because I fell asleep last night. It would actually no, tell a lie. That would be more if the DS, because of, well, it's Ben's old DS, it's a little bit funny, and I'm waiting for a new battery to come in, but every now and again it will just shut off. So unless I've saved it, I've lost all that progress.
Right.
So
Okay.
I've not lost anything substantial, but it's a bit annoying having to keep going back to a couple of battles. And
I literally save after I do anything.
Yeah,
Every time I
same
catch
here.
something and every time I battle something, I'm always saving because it's so much quicker now, isn't it? Than if you remember from back from Red and Blue and stuff. Took an age, but now it's instant.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was actually surprised at how quickly it saves.
So what's everyone's general feel about it?
It's nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
X and Y.
Yeah.
Right. The thing I said when I first started playing is, it doesn't feel like the older Pokemon games, but like in a really good way.
Yeah.
And I stand by it. It feels really different. For the most part, it's starting to sort of get back into its Pokemon feel now. But the way the game starts is really different to how like any other Pokemon game starts. In that, like, I mean, the same sort of things happen, but not in the same way, if that makes... Rather than going out of your house and going straight to a professor to get your first Pokemon or whatever, you go and meet up with your group of friends, and they have like the starting Pokemon with them, and then you all take one, and then you have to go and meet the professor in another town. But he's like 2 towns over and like 1 gym over, so you will have fought like the first gym leader, I think, before you meet the professor, which is quite awesome. It gives it more of a developed story rather than a typical Pokemon cookie cutter story.
Yeah.
What I liked is the fact they said that because you'd moved into the area, that it gave them a reason to want to talk to you almost. It wasn't like, oh look, we're just friends and we're just starting out. They said, oh, you're basically a new person or the neighbor, and that's why they want to hang around you. So it made more sense when you're talking about your name and stuff rather than.
Oh my god! Talking about, did anyone else make the same fucking mistake as me and pick? Obviously, I called my character Louchy, but I didn't know what they were saying when they gave me that options list, so I picked Big Al. So now everyone just calls me Big Al the entire time. They don't use my name.
That's amazing.
I did that.
Sucks, man.
Did you, Jamie? Did you do that?
I'm J-Meister.
Yeah, I'm J Dog.
If you press nothing, yeah, they just call you by your name. I would have much preferred that at this point, rather than every time, hey, it's Big Al.
Yeah, you're right, J Dog. It's pretty funny.
It's kind of weird, man. I still like it.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I was quite impressed with, the 3D actually is quite nice. Is quite good on it as well.
Fuck off, Johnny. Fuck you.
Ben, tell us all about the 3D.
I don't know how the 3D is because my 2DS doesn't have 3D. All right.
3D is actually pretty good. Yeah, I find it pretty good, but it's something that I put on for like a couple of minutes, like, oh yeah, that's cool, and then I just turn it off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. But at least it's
still nice.
Pleasantly impressed.
Yes. Oh yeah, that is cool. And then
like nope.
So
I don't use the 3D. I don't use it. I put it on for 2 minutes. That's it.
I think, I don't know why I was thinking that Mega Evolution was going to be an endgame thing.
Is it not?
I had it in my head that like, oh, you're going to have to get all the way to the end and beat all the gyms before you get Mega Evolution. No, I just got it, man. And that was after the second gym. So between the second and third gyms, you get this, basically it's like a Power Ranger Morpher or like a Digivice on a watch. Right. And like when the Pokemon's holding their stone, the trait, like you select from underneath their moves, like Mega Evolve, and then select a move. It doesn't take up any time. They just transform and then do their move. But you do strike like a Power Ranger morphing pose as they transform.
Can you do it every single battle? Or...
Yep.
And it doesn't cost anything? Or...
Nope.
Nice.
Well, it kind of does cost something. There's obviously the trade-off of you can't give your Pokemon anything to hold because they have to hold their Mega Evolve Stone.
But that's not really a big,
It kind of is to me because my Ivysaur and Venusaur was holding the Amulet coin. So whenever I went into battle, I was getting like double money from it. And now that I've got my Venusaur holding its like Mega Evolution Stone, I'm not getting double money anymore. So
I suppose
that kind of sucks. But I don't know. It's pretty cool. There's a move that I just found literally before we started recording called Embargo, which stops a Pokemon from using its held item. Now, I want to know if that stops you being able to Mega Evolve, because if it does, then that move suddenly became a hell of a lot more useful.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
It'd be interesting.
So you went for Venus, like the Bulbasaur. What did you go for, Jenny? Have you
sorry, what was that?
You know, the first gen starter.
First gen starter, right? Sorry, yeah, I went with Squirtle.
Okay, cool. And I guess, Jamie, you there yet?
Yeah, it's always going to be Squirtle. Yeah.
I think I only went for Charmander.
But the thing is though, if you get that download, you get Torchic, right? So you go into the mystery gift from the main page. I'm not sure if that was beyond the first day, but
no, it is. It's until like January apparently.
Well, there you go. So you'll get that Torchic. That's another generation starter, isn't it?
Plus,
yeah,
Blaziken kicks the fuck out of Charizard, man. Blaziken's awesome.
I really wanted the blue Charizard.
Also, my face when the Fennekin is a fire psychic type.
Ah,
yeah.
Really?
So I was thinking, because I was bitching, right? You remember I was like, oh my god, it looks so shit compared to the others, and it's just a fire type. But yeah, it's got psychic moves, which is kind of awesome.
See, I just found out today that the Pokemon Y, your legendary, is actually dark flying. I thought it was fire flying, so that's a lot cooler than...
That would be a natural assumption, right? Because it's bright red. You just assume it would be fire type. But then again, what was the red one from Ruby? Was it Groudon? Something like that? That thing was a ground type, wasn't it? And that was bright red. It looked like it was a fire type.
So it's interesting.
I kind of like... I prefer the X legendary, though, to be honest.
The cool...
If you hadn't have already pre-ordered X, I would have definitely bought X, man. It's like a deer with sword legs.
Yeah, it's basically Princess... It's the Princess Mononoke thing, isn't it?
That's what I was about to say, yeah. From that.
But no,
I don't like it. I really don't.
Really?
Screw it. No, I don't.
I do.
Don't know why.
Hopefully it's good, man. Do we know what the actual legendaries are in this game? The other legendaries, the ones that you find around.
I don't know. Yeah, I've not, because this is a worldwide release. There's not much information that's been put around, so I have no idea.
They've been in every gen, right? So the first gen was the birds, then it was the dogs, then it was the golems, right?
Yeah, the golems were really cool.
That last golem was shit, though, man. Was it Regigigas or something like that?
It looks badass, though.
Yeah, but it had the worst Pokemon power in the world.
The slow start, or whatever it's called.
Basically, it's got half stats for the first 5 turns.
Yeah, that's a bit stupid.
That's dreadful, man.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. I've not obviously, we haven't come across it yet. We've not.
I hope it's something cool, man. I really liked the legendary dogs. They were my favourite.
I don't know. It's such a pain in the ass to get, though.
Yeah, but that's why, man.
Yeah.
They could have literally been anywhere. Like, you're running around the map, all of a sudden you come across a legendary dog. You're like, what the fuck? What's this?
Oh, no, you're on the map, and you look at your map, and you go, oh, look, he's in the town next to me, and so if I go there, he's going to fuck off somewhere else.
Yeah, but you can only see him on the map once you've met him for the first time.
Yeah.
So you never know where you're going to meet them for the first time, though. And I really like that, man. Like, the unpredictability of it. It was, quite more exciting to, chase them. And the fact that they would run away from you mid-battle as well. And, you'd have to chase them down and stuff. It's better than, just going into the bottom of a dungeon and finding one waiting for you, which is kind of how all the others have worked.
Yeah. By the way, did I tell you that I got a shiny?
A shiny Sentret?
You sent out a tweet, didn't you?
Yeah, a shiny Sentret.
Did you get well excited when it popped, Johnny?
No, I was just confused. It's like, what?
I instantly Googled it. It looks pretty much the same, right? Except it's more caramel coloured instead of brown.
That's why I didn't know what was going on. Because when the battle first begins, you, stars glisten around it once. I was like, huh? And then because the colour doesn't look too different. So I thought, is this a shiny? A bit confused, and obviously I caught it, then looked in the box and it's got a little star next to it, so was like, okay, fair enough.
I have a feeling I may have come across a shiny and just not even noticed. I mean, on previous generations of the game, because it does sound quite familiar, but I just thought, I don't know, I didn't really think much of it. I didn't even know there was such thing as shiny Pokemon until a few years ago.
Shiny Charizard back in the day basically is like the Mega Evolved X Charizard, isn't it? It was
it's blue, isn't it?
Like a really dark blue color and stuff, which was awesome. But the actual Charmander and Charmeleon didn't really look much different from their regular counterparts. So you had to like get that shiny Charmander and then level it up to get the awesome looking one at the end, which is kind of cool.
I wonder if having a shiny Pokemon makes this Mega Evolution different.
That is quite interesting, man.
Do you get a Mega Evolution of Sentret?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it.
Alright, here's something which I guess is mildly spoiler territory. I don't think so. It was disappointing anyway. They basically give you a Lucario. That is the right Pokemon, right? I'm saying that right.
The blue one.
Yeah, the blue Lucario, the one that's in all the furry porn, right?
Yeah.
That one. They give you one after like the second or third gym, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like you meet a gym leader and she's like, "Oh, my Lucario, I guess he's taken a liking to you and stuff." And then you do a battle against her and then she gives you a Lucario. That feels kind of hollow, man. I want to work for my rare badass Pokemon.
That was kind of obvious though, because that whole conversation is because that's not too far before where I've just come from. But it is quite obvious. I thought that I was going to get it at that point.
Yeah, me
when
too.
you first meet her, and then they're like, "Fuck off." So I kind of knew I was getting one, but I don't know. It's quite cool that you get one anyway.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, but
they seem to be. They
seems
seem to be
kind of hollow.
Very
Plus,
generous, don't they?
They're giving you this fucking badass loaded gun, which everyone's going to use, man. Nobody's not going to use Lucario, especially when he comes with his Mega Evolved stone, like in his inventory, and that is the fight that gives you the Mega Evolve ability. Like, of course you're going to have Lucario in your party for the rest of the time. Plus, it's a fighting steel type? Like, just straight up giving you a fighting steel type with Mega Evolve just because. I feel like everyone's going to have the same party. I feel like if I fought you guys right now, we'd have similar parties. This can be interesting, actually. All right, let me tell you who's in my party right now, right? And then I bet we've got at least 3 of the same Pokemon or similar, right?
So take out the 2 starters because we both.
All right,
imagine
so
we've all got that.
Outside of Venusaur and Braixen or whatever, who are my mains, I've got Tyrant, Pidgeot, Azumarill, and Lucario.
Okay, mine's completely different. Well, I have actually. Well, mine's going to change. I already know it's going to change. I've got Pikachu, Tyrant, Roselia, and Pancham.
Okay, right. But before you go on, would you add Lucario to your party as soon as you get him? You wouldn't.
No.
Well, at this point, I probably would.
What type is he?
He is fighting steel.
No, because Pancham's fighting, and I've got that floating sword.
Oh, you've got that already?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in my.
I was going to mention that.
Yeah, he's in my box at the moment. I like switch him out now and again and have him because it's so easy to level up everyone now because the EXP is OP.
That's true, man. The fact that they gave you the EXP share like out the gate, I'm thankful, but it does make things a lot easier, doesn't it?
Well, obviously now they buffed it because it gives EXP to the whole party, not just one other person.
That's true, and the fact that you now get XP when you capture as well.
Yeah, so it's a lot easier this game.
Because there used to be a lot of downtime, right? When you went into a new area and you weren't grinding, you were going in to capture all the Pokemon in that area. Your Pokemon wouldn't get any XP because you'd be lowering their health down and then capping them to pretty much everything you come across. Whereas this time you're still getting XP as if you're grinding whilst you're doing that.
Yeah.
There's over 700 in this game though. There's 718 Pokemon in this game. Mm-hmm. So is that maybe their way of saying we know you're going to want to level up quite a few of them, and You know, that's a lot of Pokemon to level up.
Maybe.
It's true.
I mean, how many can we actually access without bringing them forward from like Diamond and Pearl and stuff?
Yeah, but then somebody's going to do it, and somebody's going to trade them over the internet with you. Because let's remember, the last couple of generations leading up to this one, you don't have to just be sat together with a transfer cable anymore, do you?
That's
you can
true.
do it all over the interwebs. So there's people probably selling Pokemon, and they'll do it. You know, they're not going to take the time and effort to level them up for you, but they're going to take the time and effort to try and get money out of you on the internet.
True.
Just playing up all the options. I'm not agreeing with it or anything. I'm just the way they work, right?
Cool.
By the way, whilst we're still on the subject, have you guys, on the touchscreen, it's got like friend, and there's two other options. I can't remember what they are. Is anything coming up on any of those three?
Yeah, Jenny, you know, in the top of the bottom screen, it's got that little blue internet symbol, like wireless symbol. You have to click that and then connect to the internet.
But I thought I was connected to the internet.
No, it doesn't do it automatically. You have to click that little thing and then manually connect.
Right. Okay. Well, that makes a lot more
But
sense.
yeah, the friends, they've not popped up. You know, you guys haven't popped up, so I think maybe we have to issue do a trade or search with each other or something. I don't know. I can't work it out.
That would make sense. I think before you had to like trade or battle before you could add each other to your friends and stuff.
Yeah.
Have you been using the O powers?
Yes.
O powers are pretty damn cool, man.
They're very good, guys. You need to use those.
Did I see you can send O powers to your friends?
That's how I've been leveling them up. I'm actually, you know, because on the bottom of the touchscreen, you can see like random players or you know, other people playing the game.
Yeah.
And if they're lit up, that means that they're currently playing. You can click on their face and like use the O power and give it to them, so you can like heal their Pokemon or give them a higher capture rate or increase their money gain. But it uses less, like, you know, you have to use those green, you know, there's like a charge meter.
Yeah.
If you give it to someone else, it uses less charge.
I think
So
I
you
saw
could-
that. So it costs 1 to use it on someone else and 2 to use it on yourself, right?
Yeah, or obviously the higher the spell is, like 4 to use it on yourself or 2 on them, sort of thing. So I've just been spending on other people to like level up faster, and only using it when I need to, like heal my first slot Pokemon or get a capture rate or whatever. So it's you guys should definitely use those.
Are you guys both aware of what the O power system is? Yeah.
It's
I
just
can't
been
actually
introduced
remember.
into my game at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, not really them, but no.
It's kind of cool. Do you know? It reminds me of the system in Persona 4 Golden, where you can sort of call out for help, and then if other players have also done that as well, then their sort of messages appear on your screen and give you buffs before battle. It's kind of similar to that, I think, which is an awesome system.
Yeah.
Sweet. Before we move on from Pokemon, then, what is your favorite Pokemon game? Like, I guess I'll start with Jamie. Jamie, what was your favorite Pokemon game, dude?
Well, you know that I've kind of missed out in the middle, didn't I? I would have played Red and Blue. Then I kind of just went off it for a little bit then as well. Then Diamond was probably the next big one that I got into, and everything in between and everything after just kind of went meh. But I still think Blue.
Blue, yeah.
It just will hold a place in gaming, no matter what improvements they make and so on. It's still going to be an important one.
Awesome, man.
It was simple as well. The Pokedex was 151. It was straightforward. Story was cool as well, you know. And yeah, I would have been like 13 at the time, so watching the anime and playing the trading card game, everything, it just worked out, didn't it?
Nobody played the trading card game, man.
All
Everyone
right, selling all those shiny Charizards.
Everyone bought the
Yeah.
cards.
My
Everyone
neighborhood.
swapped them. Everyone. Well, I don't know if everyone stole them, but people stole them. Nobody played it. I don't know a single person who ever played the trading card game.
I tried once, and it was really complicated. It just felt a bit overly complicated. I was like, I'm just going to go back to trading them and ripping people off.
Cool. Johnny, what was your favourite Pokemon game, man?
Gold and Silver.
Gold and Silver.
Ooh.
Nice.
It's the most fun I've ever had, and it's just the biggest game as well,
Yep.
isn't it? Like, you go back to the old world and...
Oh, mate, I couldn't believe that. Gold was my favourite as well, man. Just
yeah,
because
Gold.
It has my favourite Pokemon in that gen as well. Like, that gen of Pokemon were my
Which one's
favourite.
Which one's the favourite?
That entire gen, like that
Oh,
whole
okay, right.
Gold and Silver generation was my favourite types of Pokemon in that gen. And the fact that you completed the game, beat the Elite Four, and they were like, right, go back to the Kanto region then. Go back to red and blue areas. I was like, what? That entire game is also in this game, kind of.
hmm
It's awesome.
And
man.
then Green is the gym leader. Giovanni's gym,
Yes.
and then he quits, and then like you go back into it in Gold, and then Gary, the Gary guy, your rival from the first game, he takes you to the gym.
Don't remember that, man. So maybe I just didn't pick up on it, but I rinsed that game, so I must have seen it.
Yeah, so you fight him, and obviously, he's the gym leader, the old rival from the first game. It's really cool.
It was only in Heart Gold and Soul Silver where you were able to go and challenge Red, right? It wasn't in the original Gold and Silver.
No, it's in the original Gold and Silver as well.
Oh, it was. Okay, cool. Well, that was also another thing which was awesome, man. That that character from Pokemon Red and Blue, like, has become like the best trainer, and he's like your ultimate challenge or whatever.
Yeah, I just love how he's in the mountains, just standing there by himself. He's just too good. He has to leave society.
It was badass, man. Jenny, man, what was your favorite?
Yeah, no, it's really tough because I at first I agreed with Jay. Red and blue were just so much more simpler, and yellow as well. But I actually almost forgot about gold, and I have to go with that one, I think. But I don't know. I think the fondness in my heart still is with blue and red. But yeah, I think that whole go back to the original was a real nice touch. But yeah, gold and silver for me.
Awesome, man.
Only just though.
Cool. Pokemon X&Y out at the moment. Really, really good game. If it keeps up its pace, it could take over Gold. It's not likely to take over Gold, I'm not going to lie, but it could do if it stays this good all the way through or improves. So definitely check out Pokemon X&Y. Whew, God, we talked about Pokemon for a while, man. Let's talk about something completely different then. Let's talk about Beyond Two Souls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sort of assumed it wouldn't be very good, and you guys like, no. Did that happen?
I'll tell you what happened. I'm playing Pokemon. That's what happened. Yeah, I was going to pick up Beyond Two Souls out of these games. It would have probably been a bit of a risk on that one, but the reviews just haven't sold me. I mean, you see it now. You go on Metacritic, and it's sitting in the 70s. Just because of its clunky, that's the word I'm looking for, clunky gameplay, and it's just quite a boring story apparently as well.
Well,
Oh, you kid.
This is the thing, right? Apparently the story's not bad, but the way that they've set it up is you're constantly jumping back and forth around the timeline of her life. So when he first came out with the idea of this game, he was like, look, you're going to play as this character, you're going to play as Ellen Page, and you're going to play as like her for over like 15 years of her life. You remember him saying that, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm.
So people were thinking, oh wow, so we're going to start as her as like a young girl or whatever, and then progress through her life and see how things turn out and stuff. But in actual fact, all you do is jump back and forth to different time periods of her life. So you could start out as her at 7 years old, then cut to her at like 27, then back to her at 13. Like, it's all really disjointed and it doesn't flow at all. That's like the major complaints I'm hearing from everyone.
I see.
But then it's interesting to see because some people are giving it really good scores and saying they hated Heavy Rain. And then other people that are saying they really liked Heavy Rain are giving it really bad scores. So I don't know what's up with this game, man. Like, it's just really polarizing everybody. there is like no middle ground really. Like people either love it or really dislike it. It's a
I think
strange...
we're also stuck as well because a game like GTA would sell in buckets even if it came out on the eve of a new console launch, whereas this game is kind of like on the wire, isn't it? You're just over a month away now from the new console launches, and I think that might affect the sales of it as well. And then you have to dissect your crowd even more, and look, that's an even smaller market that are talking about it. So it's hard to get a broad opinion on this.
Well, it comes back to the same thing that we were talking about when Heavy Rain came out, right? How much control can you take away from players and still call it a game rather than a movie? Because Heavy Rain was already pretty sort of out of your hands, you know, things were going to happen the way they happen in that game, you know, but all the time in Heavy Rain there was this thing sort of in the background where, like, if your character dies here, that's them dead for the rest of the story, but the story will continue with the other characters regardless, which kind of kept people going because it gave you a lot more in the terms of like possibilities of things that could happen and outcomes and stuff. Whereas this game isn't like that at all. Like, it's telling a very specific story, and there's like, if you die, it's a failure state. It's not like you could continue on. And that's another thing that people aren't really liking about it. It's one of those games where, like, if you don't hit the button prompts in time, like, something could happen, but ultimately you're going to end up in the same place as if you did hit those button prompts, because the story dictates that you have to get there.
Right, yeah.
Which
that was what was nice about Heavy Rain, though.
That's what I liked about Heavy Rain, to be honest. Like, it was going to play out differently depending on what you did, and there was always the chance that certain characters could die and completely change how the ending would play out, which by all accounts that's just not there with Beyond at all. So what I wanted to ask is, with a game like this where they say that Beyond has taken even more control away from you, it's even closer to being like a film than Heavy Rain was. Like, how far can... Let's be honest, David Cage, he's the only one who's really doing this. How far can he take it before it is just a film? Like, before they can't actually classify it as a game?
Well, at the moment, it is just an interactive DVD menu, isn't it? I don't know. If he can keep telling the story, then you come away from it wondering. Maybe we should see what it's like if he did actually direct a film or produce a film or something.
Because
he hasn't dabbled in that yet, has he?
It really is just David Cage's games that do this, because other companies make these sort of point and click style games that are more of like an interactive experience. Like Telltale make these games all the time, but theirs have way more gameplay and stuff involved than David Cage's games do.
For me, the perfect blend, and it's not even anywhere near close to being a movie, but the perfect blend to keep it a video game is the way Uncharted 3 played out. And I think that should be the limit. I don't really want to go beyond that.
Well, I'd say The Last of Us is probably my favourite sort of cinematic gaming experience, because that game hardly ever took control away from me. Like, I was always in control of what was going on, pretty much. Other than like the few cutscenes scattered throughout the game, most of the interaction went on in game as you were playing, and it was subtle things as well, like interacting with the environment, that progressed the story and the character development. I think that's how games should do it. That felt really natural. Like, I felt like I really got to know those characters over the course of playing the game, and at the same time I was still playing the game. I wasn't sort of being dictated to by cutscenes or anything. So I don't know, I feel like the fact that those games exist, the fact that fucking Naughty Dog are as good as they are, it's kind of like to the detriment of like David Cage and his studio. I don't know. Maybe that's me reading into things too much. This is me in my ramble mode again. You guys need to stop me.
No, that's good. Yeah. So are you planning to pick it up then, Jamie, at some point?
For me now, it's going to have to be like a bargain one after Christmas. I've got no intention of putting down the 40 for it. I'd like to see this maybe like January sales. Yeah, maybe the £20. I don't even think 25 would cut it now. I do want to play it because I don't think you should really go by reviews that much. There's a limit, isn't there? Like you find people that you enjoy. We've talked about this before as well, but you find people you enjoy, and maybe share the same opinion with on most things, and then you start to lean towards that. But to be honest, to me, the reviews have always just been faceless companies that I've got no connection to these reviews, and I've been quite lucky in the way I've been able to play the things I want to play. So maybe with this, I'm just a bit borderline, and I'm not sure yet. 20 quid max.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. I will want to play it at some point, but I don't think, with everything that I've heard from like sort of trusted review sources and stuff like that, I don't think I'd be willing to pick it up at full price, especially if it really is sort of like a 4-hour experience as well, like which is what a lot of places are claiming. It's a lot shorter than Heavy Rain as well. So
really,
yeah, and Heavy Rain, I mean, that game would take you what, 8 hours maybe? Possibly 10 to run through Heavy Rain. Even by today's standard, like that's pretty much standard. 8 hours is like a good length for a game. I think 4 hours you can't really justify unless it's very specific. Like unless your story is so good that you can justify that 4-hour time length. But we've spoke about that before, so I'm not going to dwell on it. That is a thing, Beyond Two Souls. You should probably be wary. Maybe check out all the review sources online, see what people are saying. There's a lot of very different viewpoints. It's quite interesting to read them. Moving on then. GTA 5 Online. Rockstar are doing a stimulus package where they're giving players $500,000 over the course of the next month, I think in 2 installments of $250,000 each.
In-game.
Yes, this is an apology, right?
Yeah.
For the rocky launch of GTA Online and for the bugs that still persist, but I guess aren't as bad now. What do you guys think of this as like a goodwill gesture? Do you reckon it's enough? Do you reckon it was even deserved?
I don't like that word. Is it enough? Or deserved? I don't think it's particularly deserved. Did they have to do it? They probably did. But then again, there's nothing stopping them saying, well, we sorted it out now. It's done. And people would forget. It's a nice touch. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Because online money, from what I've seen from Scott playing, is that it's actually quite hard to come by. So it's probably quite welcome for some people. But
it's also an interesting move on their part. I mean, you can understand why they're doing it, right? Because people that have lost cars and stuff and like lost their money through glitches in GTA Online, there's no way for them to just directly sort of give those people back their cars and stuff. So I guess giving them this money would allow them to replace those cars, which is like quite nice. But considering it's got microtransactions to buy money, it's interesting that they would give people this large amount of money now at the cost of their own pocket, basically, because that's money that people aren't going to be buying from them. So I kind of like it, man. It feels like it's a genuine thing because it is cutting into their bottom line.
But then it could work the other way, and I've always got to put the negative spin on it. Could they see it as being so? Somebody like me might not want to turn the game on again. But then I read about that and I think, okay, I'll go back on there. Then it's working okay, so I carry on playing, and then I do end up spending money.
Well, here's something that I wanted to address, actually. I feel like Rockstar has got away with this. Like, and I'd say that in a... You know how I feel about people getting bitchy about this kind of thing online, right? But if you think back to SimCity when that launched, right? And the problems that it had when it launched, and the massive backlash against EA that happened when that all went down, right? When Diablo 3 launched, and it had its Error 34 or whatever it is, that was happening over the launch of Diablo 3, and Blizzard got a massive fucking backlash from that, right? And then GTA 5 comes out, GTA Online doesn't work properly at launch, there's loads of glitches, bugs and stuff. Nobody really gives a fuck because it's Rockstar.
No, but it's a completely different situation. Like, single player works absolutely fine. You've got a whole sort of campaign to run through. It just depends how you sort of see this. I just saw it as like it's like an add-on sort of.
Yeah, the game I paid for works.
Yeah, exactly. It's adjunct.
Well, I guess that works for you guys, but what if it was somebody who bought it exclusively for online? I mean, there's still people that only play GTA 4 online now.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Well, that's probably something you've got to look at yourself. If a game isn't... All right, let's take Final Fantasy 14. That's a most recent example of a game which had loads of problems on the relaunch. That's the even biggest problem. Remember all those hours we sunk in on the beta stage? And then people started having problems with same thing, character deletions. That's for some people that would have been tens of hours, maybe even hundreds of hours lost.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But
there was a massive backlash about that.
But what did they do about it?
They fixed it.
Yeah.
But there was still a massive backlash, like forums full of people bitching and moaning. A couple of people that I know playing that game were like sending me texts going, "Oh, this game's fucking terrible and stuff. I can't believe this and that." Like, there's always backlash, right? But nobody really did that against GTA at all. Like, it's almost like Rockstar are immune, kind of.
Right.
Do you remember that one South Park episode, right, where all the celebrities came back and they wanted to get the Prophet Muhammad to get his immunity to being criticized, right? Rockstar is basically that of the games industry. They're just like immune to criticism.
It's the same with anything. If people are, you can look at any industry. If people see it in higher enough regard, they'll be more forgiving on it. If they're not so sure on something, then they're on the fence. It could go either way, and it could be a real extreme. So that's why with Final Fantasy you don't hear about it anymore, and they're even worse because Square Enix didn't actually didn't even offer anything to anybody for the problems they had. They
gave you an extra, I think, 14 days on your free trial period. Was it 14 or 7, Johnny?
I think it was just 7.
Right, they gave you an extra week on your free trial period for it.
So they gave you £2.
Pretty much, yeah.
Of an 8 on an 8. So they gave you £2. Okay, right. So it's not comparable between the two, but the point is, yeah, it's the same. It's like Halo, not Halo. Well, Halo, COD, Battlefield. You don't hear so much bad press. Even FIFA, Jesus, you don't hear any bad press about it because it's one of those AAA titles and it's the darling of the reviewers. They can happily slap 90% on there and get their company put on. The point is that these games, people will make more allowances for them, and as we've mentioned, GTA is such a strong game anyway. This is very minor in the grand scheme of things. Like you said, people are still playing GTA 4, and how long has that been out?
That came in 2007, so like 6 years.
Exactly. So if people probably appreciate the game more.
No, it couldn't have been 2007, 2008.
Yeah,
February 2008.
Yeah.
April 2008. April. There you go.
You'll get it. Yeah, but Squirtle wants to learn Bubble. That's a problem.
Are you still playing Pokemon as we speak?
Because he already knows 4 moves.
I'm not
I mean, these are the trials in life.
I'm not gonna lie, Pidgeotto wants to learn Twister as well.
Probably teach it him, man. It's a dragon type move.
And Pikachu wants to learn Thunder Wave. He already knows 4 moves.
Now you see, I would have taught him it, but the thing just reset itself.
Do you know what I do when that happens? I just go lol. I go lol tail whip. Anyway. Okay,
cool.
Right.
So that was GTA talk. This next one I actually haven't read much about, to be honest. Headsets of choice for next gen. I'm assuming this is the news that third-party headsets might not work at launch.
Yes.
It's not even just that. It's more just like it's a little bit about next gen, and it's also a little bit about the older headsets you already have not working, including some Sony first-party ones. So I'm guessing Gianni's read more about some third-party new ones not working.
Kinda. I mean, I stumbled across it this afternoon, and there was one thing that was quite interesting, was that Sony said they're going to release a patch. Now, I think there's a problem with Bluetooth. There's mainly the Bluetooth ones. But yeah, Sony said they're going to release, it's going to come out in an update, and most should work. And apparently they're quite open about it for whoever approached them. But the one thing that took me by surprise, and you're going to call me a fanboy here, but was Microsoft's response was, we're releasing an accessory to solve the problem. How much do you think that accessory is going to cost?
Well, if they haven't priced it, I'm guessing it's probably what, £15, £20?
Yeah, £15-20, and I don't know. But the point is why is this an issue from day one? I mean, actually, this is open for debate. Do you think over the years there's been a lot of push on these headsets like Turtle Beaches and stuff? Now, I haven't bought into any of that, but I don't know, Ben, you had a Turtle Beach. Would you not be a bit pissed off if you spent what? Some of them were about 150 quid upwards.
True, but I mean, you've bought that headset for your current gen system, right? It's not really their fault if that's not compatible with their new system. Like, I'm going to sound really petty now, right? But I never moaned when my PS1 controller or my PS1 memory card didn't work on my PS2. Even though the PS1 memory card did work on the PS2, so that's probably a shit thing. Don't worry. But the controllers and stuff weren't compatible, right? You couldn't use a PlayStation 1 controller on a PS2. And that's kind of the same now, right? You're not going to be able to use a DualShock 3 on your PS4. So it kind of makes sense that you wouldn't be able to use current gen headsets either. Maybe.
Right.
I mean, we're in a situation where most things that run via USB should work on most other USB systems, right? So in that sense, yeah, it's kind of bullshit. But I mean,
this is what it boils down to, though. They're both either USB or Bluetooth, right? There's no physical reason why it shouldn't work. A controller's different because the PS2 controller had more direction on the analog sticks, and the buttons are pressure sensitive, if I remember rightly. Or that might have been the PS3 one, actually, over PS2. The point is, a controller is different. Maybe. Just because the console itself may be completely different, but the ports are the same. A USB port's the same no matter what you plug it into, right? So it's a bit of software which they've chosen not to put in on both consoles. And that's, I don't know, to me, it just seems like a bit of a two fingers up. Well, on Sony, it was probably an oversight for what from everything else they've had to do.
See, now that just fell out of your mouth, that was fanboyism.
No,
right there. Well, I'll forgive Sony for it, but fuck Microsoft.
Well, no, actually,
it's such bullshit, man.
No. All right, I see where you're coming from, but what I meant is that a lot of the way Sony have won over a lot of fans is that they've sort of backtracked on things that they hadn't really committed to in the past. And that's my point, where Microsoft are like, no, we're doing this, and then they've had to backtrack because they realised that they're not getting they've got no momentum on the side. The point is, why is it that Microsoft have to release a new something else for you to buy in order for you to use something that you've had before?
I don't know. So what's Sony's answer? Are they going to work on a firmware update for it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be done in the first couple of weeks, won't it? There's a bit of a balance there, though, isn't there? On one hand, it would be nice if everything in your living room, everything in your house could somehow run on the same things and interact in a sense. I mean, hell, I get excited when I buy a new phone and I find it's the same charger as something else in my house now, you know? That's nice, though. Little things like that are nice. But then on the other hand, this PS4 launch is an investment and I want to cherish it. And so if it means spending out to get something new, then there is that as well, I guess.
I suppose there's the other thing that report sort of glossed over was the fact that both consoles are going to have a headset included anyway. Am I right?
You're gonna get a mono earbud with your PS4, and it'll just probably be the same as the Xbox 360, won't it? You get the Xbox One style of that. God, that tells you I've not really looked into what the Xbone's getting with it, but yeah. But that's just like having like a mobile phone earbud, isn't it? Nothing special. I will eventually want a headset, but at least that'll get me going.
You dropped the X-Bone there, man. Sorry to interject, but did you see that Microsoft officially recognized that now, yeah?
Really?
They've licensed the domain for it, haven't they?
They hated it at
Registered.
first. Major Nelson came out and said, it's disrespectful to all the people that put in a load of work on the Xbox One. And then everyone was just like, no, fuck you, we're going to keep calling it the X-Bone. And then like they released a press release saying, look, we might not like it, but we know that people are going to be calling it that, so we're fine with it. So I feel like they did that just because people started bitching at them and being like, oh, well, you don't like us calling it X-Bone and stuff. What do you guys think of X-Bone? I think it's kind of cool, to be honest.
What, the word? Name?
Yeah, the word. Like, you playing some X-Bone later, man. X-Bone works, man. I don't know why they didn't think of that before. That entire, boardroom where they were coming up with ideas for it, right? And nobody thought that someone was going to, shorten it to X-Bone.
It's just a joke. It was an unfunny joke, which is unfortunately going to hang around a lot longer than I was hoping it would. I never really laughed when they called it X-Bone, and I still don't find a funny side to it.
I don't think it's funny. I just think it's a cool little abbreviation, like a little pet name for it, man. I spent 4 years calling my Xbox my sex box, man. As if that was what it was called. Do these things, man.
But I don't know. I think it would just end up being called an Xbox like the previous two were anyway.
I'm just going to go back, play some Xbox. No one's going to say the one. Nobody even said 360, did they, to be honest?
This is what I mean. I mean, you only say PS4, PS3, PS2 because it's easier than saying PlayStation. It's shorter than saying PlayStation, but Xbox is pretty short and quite clarifies what it is.
It's the same as syllables, so we'll see if X-Bone or Xbox wins out.
I never really thought of that before, It really is only the PlayStation family that people call by name. So, it's on PS1, it's on PS2, it's on PS3, PS4. People just call Xbox,
GameCube,
Xbox 360. No, they just call it Nintendo. Can I get it on Nintendo? Yes, they do, man.
Shut up.
Do you not remember, right, all the people that go, is that coming out on Nintendo? Can I get that on Nintendo? Type thing.
What, you mean...
No, don't know what you're on about.
Really?
Yeah.
Just me, then?
Never heard.
It was the same...
I hear it in America, and a lot of the time they were talking about how they should just call the next console Nintendo. And I kind of like that idea. But then, I've never heard it over here. Don't know what you're on about.
Oh,
yeah, it's just Wii. It's always say Wii. Because Wii was a big name, so I think everyone caught on to that.
Yeah, anyone who's not older enough, anyone who plays consoles does not call it Nintendo.
There's people who said P3, that annoyed me.
P3.
P3. You on P3?
Why did it bug you, though? Is it because you in your head were thinking, Persona 3? What?
Yeah, it's just P3. I don't know. It just sounds... I don't know. Anyway.
Vivillon learned struggle bug.
What?
Sorry.
Another shout out from James Pokemon. All right. Well, talking of headsets, do you guys use headsets? Yeah, often.
Not for consoles. I used to have a Turtle Beach for COD in it because it was, using it for first-person shooters pretty good. You can hear footsteps and stuffs.
I mean,
I think I'm getting the Astro, the Astro gaming headset.
Yeah,
you can use it with your PC.
I was about to say that as well, man. That's what I've been looking at picking up as well. So,
yeah.
Is there going to be one of those that's compatible with Xbox One and PlayStation 4?
Well, I think because the PS3 has an optical port and the Astros can go through the optical port. So hopefully, if the PS4 has one, you should be able to use it. I guess it'll have an optical port, right? Because most new,
you would hope so.
use the optical. So as long as it has that, then you will be able to use it. But that's why I've held off of getting one because I wasn't too sure. But once that's, once it's in my house and I can see it, okay, yeah, let's get one.
Cool. On the subject of headsets and stuff not working at launch, I can understand why, right? Because there's been a lot of sort of development on actually getting the machine itself to work and run properly and making sure the firmware works and things like that. and then features like compatibility with third-party accessories and things will be patched in later. I would rather have the console out working and being able to play games and stuff when we're getting it, rather than maybe wait, like push it back another few weeks to get that firmware on there before launch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like give and take, right? You could maybe postpone it for a month and get that firmware on board all the units, or launch it and then just roll that firmware out 2 weeks later or whatever, and then just have them compatible then. So either way, it's not a really big deal. I'm happy about the PlayStation 4 pad working on PC from launch, though.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good move.
I've been playing most of my PC games that I can comfortably play with a pad with the PS3 pad recently.
Yeah.
And it works fine, man. But being able to just use the PS4 pad on the PC without having to get a workaround, like, that's going to be really nice. So
Yeah.
that is a
Right off the bat, isn't it? So.
appreciated bonus.
Well,
I guess.
Every PC gamer, anyone who's got games in their PC who's buying a PS4 has essentially just got a free controller for their PC as well. It's great news, I thought.
Yeah, but it's still pretty expensive, right, to get that controller for your PC. It's still cheaper to get a 360 pad, which work absolutely fine on PC and are really, really fucking good.
Well, no. What my point is, if you're buying a PS4 at launch, right? You also have games on Steam. You're not going to be playing both at the same time, so you've got a free controller for your PC as well.
I guess I'm really intrigued to see the PS4 pad in person and sort of get hands on with it, because I'm hearing good things about it, but it's really going to have to be something special to be better than the 360 pad. Because the 360 pad was probably close to perfect, man. It had a bit of a shit D-pad, but
A very bad D-pad.
yeah, but other than that, it was a really, really nice controller. Just so comfortable to hold and play. Like, I mean, you guys would agree with that, right? That is probably the best controller.
Well, I still reckon the PS3 should have kept their banana controller.
Why?
Oh, the crescent moon thing.
Yeah.
The original concept one.
Just throwing that and then watching it come back to you.
Imagine that.
No more broken TVs.
No, you're knocked out instead.
Just go straight back.
I wanted to make some sort of joke about games having replay value. I don't know. I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
You'll get bored of a game, but you'll always come back to it or something. I don't know.
It's that endless circle of rage.
I'm so lost.
Oh yeah, like if you're playing Ninja Gaiden and you get so angry, you go to throw your pad, it will just swing back around and hit you.
So even more angry.
Yeah. I think A&E must be happy that never happened.
Johnny, talk to me about this new Zelda trailer, dude.
Oh my god, looks good. Go watch it.
Awesome.
Well, no. So, did you mention already the low rule, Jamie?
No, I don't think we've brought it up yet.
Okay.
No, I mean, you started to at the end of last week's podcast. You were saying there was a new trailer.
Oh, okay. And then there's the 8-minute trailer that you guys should get on it. Because I'm actually with Jay. I think my favorite Zelda is A Link to the Past. Because that was my very first Zelda on the SNES, and played it. We started that game so many times. Absolutely loved it. And this one, it's the same world and mostly the same music, just remastered and remixed. But no, it looks really good. Did you say that you had a theory on it, Jamie, or something that you wanted to share?
I'm just not sure how much has been touched on with the background of this Link character. And if you watch that trailer now, you see that this new character works with paintings and can also go in and out of the wall and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just wondered, if it hasn't been covered then, I just wondered if this is Hyrule later on and they've taken like a painting of Link, the hero we would have known from A Link to the Past, and they've somehow pulled him out of the painting, and that's why you have the ability to go into the walls as a painting.
That would make sense.
Yeah, and that's why he also looks
like,
because he looks like the old Link as well, doesn't he?
That's why he's the hero from the
Oh, wow.
I just wondered if that's maybe what we're going to find out.
That'd be interesting, but I'm completely all over it. Like, because before,
Where does this one fall on the timeline?
Don't you start.
After A Link to the Past.
Yeah,
You're
but
the one
what-
with the bloody Hyrule Historia.
Yeah,
big story.
I haven't had a chance to properly like read through it yet because Pokemon. But like whereabouts on the time? Because Johnny, I know you sort of know this timeline, right? You do know kind of what the timeline is. What branch is A Link to the Past on?
I can't remember. I used to. Well, I watched the thing tons of times, but
Wait, is this that? Are you referring to that timeline that Nintendo fans have been trying to splice together to try and make
no,
sense?
they
there's
officially.
there's
It's
an
in
It's
official
all
one.
confirmed now in the Historia.
Is it all
Yeah.
actually? I didn't know that.
So there's 2 official timelines, right?
Two.
There's three.
Or 3, yeah, no.
branches. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 branches. So I don't know, because I think A Link to the Past is set before Zelda 64, right? Oot. Is it?
I think so. So wait,
Ring of Time.
whilst we're on the topic of the timeline, right? Just to clarify, Ocarina of Time is where everything changes, right?
Yeah.
So
Before.
there's the timeline where Ganondorf wins, right?
Yeah.
So he wins, nobody stops him. The goddess floods the world, then we move on to the Wind Waker timeline, right?
Hmm.
So then there's the timeline where Link goes. There's the timeline where Link has gone to the future and defeats him. Right? So there's
Yeah.
that timeline where he's gone to the future and he's defeated him there. And then there's another timeline from when he goes back and it's off into like Majora's Mask and stuff, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
That's so confusing, isn't it? So Skyward Sword is the entry point, right? That's the first in the timeline.
Yeah.
And A Link to the Past, is that right near the beginning or is that right near the end?
I thought it was near the beginning.
Because
I
they
found it.
were
Crack
originally
open
saying
your
that
book, you idiot.
That's what I was just thinking. You've got the book there.
it's downstairs.
Ah,
I can't
Damn it.
go and get it.
We can wait.
Whatever. I'll find it out for next time anyway.
yeah.
I expect a masterclass in Zelda featuring Ben Louch next week.
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentation.
I'll totally do that.
I
Right.
don't know how that'll work
you in a
over a
suit.
podcast,
So-
but we'll try.
It's a
What-
YouTube channel. It'll be fine. You can
What did
video
they-
it.
So, what kind of new things did they reveal in the new trailer, Johnny?
Mostly the new bad guy, right, Jamie? You've seen it. You can help me out with this. The bad guy.
They're calling him Shannondorf because it just looks like a female Ganon, but it's actually a male. I don't really know
Shannondorf is
much else.
amazing.
Yeah.
I would love a Shannondorf, but I think I was just taken when you see Link being pulled out of the painting at the start of the trailer.
Yeah.
Or like it looks, you can see a small frame around the outside of what they're doing to him, so it looks to me like he's being pulled off of a wall, out of a painting, and I'm still just stuck on that theory. But I haven't really seen much else I didn't know from the Nintendo Direct though, which we spoke about last week.
All right.
Oh, right,
well,
yeah.
here's one thing that I'm concerned about, right? Because I do want to play it, but my concern is it just because really it looks like it's exactly the same sort of style as A Link to the Past. So is it just from like the bird's eye view type perspective the entire way through, or is it gonna sort of zoom into more sort of cinematic camera angles for like little interaction scenes and like the beginnings of bosses and things like that?
Yeah, the cutscenes. You do see it like zoom in, don't you?
The cutscenes are all Ocarina of Timey, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
all
Okay.
multi-angled.
That's good then, because I was worried that the entire game, when they were building it up as like, this is a sequel to A Link to the Past, it's going to be very much like that game. I was like, right, so it's just going to be sort of bird's eye view the entire time kind of thing. And I was thinking, well, that feels kind of dated and stuff. I was kind of worried, but if it is going to be more like Phantom Hourglass and stuff, where it goes into cinematic cutscenes and like cinematic angles for conversations and stuff, and then just goes back to that bird's eye perspective for gameplay, I could probably get behind that, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. Yeah, but no, it definitely does that. You in the trailer you do see it sort of zoom in and you see the characters moving around and it's good. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Cool. So just as a last point then, before we wrap things up, before we started, Johnny was like, dude, we need to talk about Monster Hunter 4, talk about it. All right, Johnny, talk to me about Monster Hunter 4. Oh, man.
It's just doing really well in Japan, and I'm just hoping that it comes out here. Still hoping.
So we still.
So when did this come out?
A couple of weeks, maybe last month. It's not been long at all. That's what I'm trying to say. Maybe like
you were saying 2.5 million copies.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where that fits in the scale, but
2.5 million copies only in Japan, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm asking, though. I don't know the normal sales or the expectation. So is that way ahead of where it should be, or are they?
Yes, definitely. If you just try and think like a big scale game, like Dead Space 3 had to sell like 5 million to sort of make a profit. Now that's a AAA, EA spending tons of money on it, so that's 5 million. So this has made half of what they wanted in like 2 weeks in just Japan. So
right, okay. See, now I'm
so on the scale of it, that's really, really well.
Plus, Capcom have just been fucking rehashing Monster Hunter for a while now. It doesn't cost them much money to make it. I bet any money it doesn't. So they're making tons of cash from that franchise.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts. Awesome. Hopefully we get it soon then, because I really want to play it, man.
Yeah, I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan.
Are you still keeping up with Shepard's playthrough?
Yeah, I've been watching that on YouTube. Like every now and again, I'll just watch a video and watch him beat up a new monster and think, yeah, I wish that was me.
Cool. If anyone's interested in Monster Hunter 4 and wants to see sort of what the game's about, this guy Shepard from Teamwork Cast, who do a lot of Monster Hunter stuff, is doing a Let's Play of it on his channel, Social Dissonance. Is that it?
Yep, social distance.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That guy knows everything about Monster Hunter. It's really informative, and if you were ever going to be talked into buying that game, that's the guy who's going to do it for you. So, Cool. Is there anything you guys wanted to mention or bring up before we close things out?
I don't know. Did we cover Pokemon?
I don't think so. I think we should dive back into that.
Really? Do you think people understand what Pokemon actually is?
I don't know.
Should we tell them a bit more about it? Maybe next week.
I do want to play some Pokemon, though, if any of you guys are up for a battle.
I'm online. I mean, I definitely haven't been playing this whole time.
Fuck.
I need to get some food, but yeah, maybe in a bit.
I'll go get some Pop-Tarts.
So let's close this out and go play some Pokemon then.
Sweet.
Cool. If you want to get in contact with us, you can reach us on Twitter at gsc_games. If you want to reach us on Facebook, it's just GSC Games. Search it up, you'll find us. If you want to get in contact with any of us directly, our Twitter handles will be down in the description. And thanks for listening to our podcast again. It's a thing that we do weekly.
Much. Yeah.
Thank you.
We do, don't we? Yeah.
Do it.
Mostly weekly.
Mostly.
Last week's podcast definitely isn't going up as we speak. Oh, fuck my life.
You suck. We need a new editor.
Oh, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.